Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another very enlightening topic, which is simply but profoundly enough about the tree of life, the Sephiroth, or better said, the emanations of creation. Or, in another terms, the positive polarity or the positive aspect of our reality. Yeah? So, what do I want to get to know you? And as I'm talking about it, light emanating into this video. Isn't it perfect? That's perfect. So, N333 on a car. Perfections. The forces of the abyss. And in our case, Shugal guides us through this so that you can let go of some other probability, toxic or hurt aspect of your own masculinity, so you can embrace the emanations of the higher light better. So yeah, welcome. I welcome all of these energies into this video. So what I want to talk to you about, dear ladies and gentlemen, is, after you've done the initiations in the tree of life, when you have gotten through each sphere from Malkut, Yesod, Netzach, Chod, Tiferet, Geburah, Chesed, Da'as, Binah, Chokmah, and Kefer, right? And then, if you decide so, with other four goddesses, or like even with Zeus, like my own personal gnosis is like Zeus, the Greek god, Zeus, if I'm not mistaken, rules over the three negative ways, Ein Sof, Aur, Sophia, this Gnostic goddess who created the Alter Beot, rules the three negative ways. Even Yalda Beot rules over the three negative ways. And of course, Barbello, another powerful goddess you can work with, initiating in the three negative ways at some point on a journey, which I will do. But right now, we talk about what you shall do after you walk through each sphere, right? If you have observed the construct of tree of life, it has pathways in between. It's like the 22 pathways of wisdom, and power. And for real, if you want to tap into the full potential, of the tree of life and its emanations and its dynamic in between, you got to initiate through each pathway as well. What I suggest to you, of course, when you've done the Kefir initiation, what usually happens afterwards, if you're not consciously deciding for something different, you shoot down back to Malkut, the earth, everything you've gained through your initiations, yes. But if I were you in this case, I would like to do is more so, I would start initiating through the pathways by each numerological correspondences, So like after I finish Kefir, I would probably start to initiate in the 11th pathway of Aleph, or in a Tarot, the Fool. This it's the aftercare initiations you do. You're not done with the initiations of the tree of life. You still need to go through the 22 pathways of the Kabbalah, and in it are the 22 major arcanas, the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess. I'm not gonna mention everybody. You know, if you know tarot, you know the 22 main archetypes of the Tree of Life. You must initiate through them as well. And not only that, if I were you, I would also, when I'm starting to initiate through the pathway of Aleph, the Fool, I would basically initiate or get to know the energies of the Hebrew alphabet of Aleph, and initiate myself into the archetypal energies of the Fool. You know, through that, you are a sure way to literally, you know, gain the full benefits of each Sephirotic emanations, because you're literally kind of connecting this nervous system and astral and spiritual energetic body synapses to each other. Like you create a current of energy, you create a running dynamic. You know what is happening is like you kind of expand these emanations, these vessels in their own energy body, in their own surroundings of the energy body, but it just contains the energy. It just contains the potential. So what happens after is when you start to connect the synapses, the pathways, the currents, you start to unleash the essences of each Sephira, and it allows for unique combinations and unique dynamics of evolution and powers and healings to happen. You know? Otherwise, yes, you have gained a lot of potential and integrations. Yes, it's all true and valid. But, you know, life also initiates you unconsciously in the Tree of Life to certain degrees. And it's still valid. And it's still true and real, because the Tree of Life represents the material living, the society we know, you know, order, construct, masculinity, the patriarchal aspect of our reality, the positive, the light side of masculinity, as well as the light side of femininity, in a sense. You know, and these are working in the Tree of Life predominantly. So like, yeah, you know, you kind of allow, when you are connecting these synapses, these pathways, unleashing its currents, you are allowing for further integrations, manifestations and evolutions to happen. And now you can then start to consciously change yourself and influence each reality further and much more deeper. You know? And life in of itself, you know, like this Tree of Life has been often correlated to DNA, you know, your DNA potential, to your ancestors, to your light body, to your, and also Tree of Life kind of depicts not just the microcosmical aspect of our reality, not just our own energy body, our own vessel of flesh. It also depicts the planetary forces. It also depicts the planetary forces of our galaxy, of our universe. You know, it also depicts these forces. It also depicts the macrocosmical reality we are surrounded with on a daily basis. So like it kind of depicts, like the name says, life, and how to walk through life, how to manifest with life. So by you initiating into the Tree of Life, you start to heal, incorporate, and to embody the creationary aspect of living, the orderly aspect of living. And that's also very important. Even though one is like a black magician or somebody who walks with the draconian current of primordial chaos and darkness and the void would have not. It's all good, all important, all valid. Yes. But neglecting the tree of life is neglecting your daily life, is neglecting your own personal order, your own personal sense you make out of this chaos, out of this darkness, out of this unleashed potential. You activate by walking with this adversarial and dark current, you know. That's why my last video was about what happens when you are, what happens from too much darkness. You know, mental illness, health degrades. Health degrades. And all of the so-called good stuff, all of the good stuff, so to say, you know, if you are not able to contain this darkness, translate this darkness for your own self-evolution, for your own self-empowerment, it's just too much. You are not as of yet as developed in your craft, and you are going head first into this. You know, even for experienced practitioners, they can also get into a rut. They can get also into a negative cycle where they're perpetuating too much darkness for their own good. Instead of evolving, they're degrading and then going out of self-regulation, self-safety in a negative coping mechanism to numb themselves, to numb everything that comes up through darkness. And they become mentally ill, unstable, chaotic, poor, what have not, you know. So that's why it's very important that you also, as a predominantly dark magician or negative polarized being, that you have established for yourself the foundations of the tree of life. For real. It's very important, you know. And the tree of life, it's not just one separate aspect of the tree. It's like the tree is a whole thing. You know, it's not just that the clip off is a whole other thing. No, both trees correspond to each other. Both trees are in correlation and in a powerful dynamic with each other. You know, it's like a negative force and a positive force. It's like a huge battery, and you are basically learning to tap into this battery and using its never-ending generating force for their own deification, in their own magic, in their own matrix, you know. It's literally a process of becoming, in a sense, a god-alike being, or a demigod, or at some point a god, who knows, you know. The process of self-deification, left-hand path. So like, the tree of life isn't just occupied by just angels, you know. It's not just occupied by angels, it's occupied by pagan deities, it's occupied by even demonic deities, it's occupied by all kinds of forces. The force of tree of life can be used by nearly every deity or being out there which exists, because it's a part of reality itself. So even the darkest fuckers out there are a part of the tree of life, if they want it or not. So learning to handle this aspect of your own energy body and spirit is highly appropriate. They don't need to do it like with me, with angels. They don't need to. You can also work with even Lucifer and Lilith and Hecate, or you know, or with the Norse pantheon to go through a tree of life. Like literally, you can do that too. You don't have to do it with angels. For me personally, you know, tree of life has been mass collectively associated with angels and angelic beings and all of its cohorts and you know, collectives. And I would say I'm a Kabbalist in this sense, and I just want to have it in a sense done in a traditional way. You know, I want to have a traditional initiations, because in it is power. You know, in it is power. Like, so many magicians have gone through these systems and have empowered themselves through it. And even before that, this this technology has been used by other world intelligences as well, and like tapping into this is highly beneficial. You know, like I'm telling you, you know, in my first approaches, before I even was aware of the tree of life, you know, my life went very deeply down here, you know, intentionally so, because you know, people who want to achieve something greater in life in one way or another need to have, for whatever fucking reason, character building moments, in parentheses, you know, character building moments. And I had a lot of character building moments, so to say, you know, but even the character building moments can become the opposite if you don't have this, if you don't have the flame established within you, if you don't have this hunger, this drive established within you. These character building moments can become character destroying moments. Like, you can just become a fucking bum through them too, if you're not able to handle them appropriately and, you know, be on your shit, be on your path. And if you don't do that, yeah, life is gonna in the Matrix is gonna teach you the hard and painful way, or destroy you, or even consume you. You know, there is such a thing as a devouring mother, and the Matrix comes from, like, derived from the I'm not sure if it's Latin, like from mother, matrix, you know, substance. That's the mother, right? There is such a thing as a devouring mother, a mother who eats her children. And also the Matrix is also highly in connection to Saturn as well, and Saturn is also Kronos, the Kronos who eats his own children. So like the dark masculine, dark feminine, who highly influences our Matrix in occult regards, in hidden regards, they gonna eat you, you know. You become their better resource. If you don't claim your birthright of being a sovereign deity or entity yourself, then you're gonna be fed upon. Then these character building moments get to waste, and you get to waste. You know, you must transform these quote-unquote negative experiences into character building moments, into empowerment moments. You know, in a deeper studies of Kabbalah, it's like all of these quote-unquote negative or destructive things happening to you, and you feeling a certain way. What is happening is a tikkun. Like, you are cleansing yourself, you are cleansing your own emotional body, because this triggered your emotional body to get this dirt, this negativity out by you reacting a certain way. And right now, literally, a car drove by 5 times 8 on it. So like, what I'm telling you right now is highly powerful, highly profound, highly evolutionary in nature. Now all of this stuff happening to you, and you having these emotions coming up, and these negative feelings coming up, it's a cleansing of the soul. If you can embrace it appropriately, if you let yourself feel this way, if you let yourself be like the creator aspect of our reality. You know, you feel this negativity, you feel it, you nurture it, you take it the aspect of yourself, you use this potential, this negativity unleashed, you know, because negativity, dark matter, is like primordial chaos. It's like an infinite raw potential. You can create out of this whatever feels in most alignment with you. So hence, having a good foundation established in a tree of life and its synapses, its pathways unlocked, will allow you to in a sense, allow you to transform these negative emotions coming up from your own underworld, from your own clipboard, into a profound creation, into a creation that sustains and that allows you to further evolve yourself, and potentially also the mass collective with you. You know, that is happening. You know, you become a ruler, you become like a creator yourself, and you will mass collectively influence angelic, like the mass collective of quote-unquote normal society or the light side society and the conscious aspect of society, by you embracing your own tikkun, by you embracing your own cleansing and healing of your own soul's negative aspects, you know. So walking with the tree of life, it's also highly shadow work too, you know, because if you really want to be a vessel for high creationary energies and having the channels open to flow through you, these high creationary energies, you know, you got to integrate, remove its blockages, its darkness, its excessive, unhealthy and toxic darkness occupying it and hindering its flow, you know. So hence, walking with tree of life is surprisingly also a dense shadow work at the same time too, especially for people who are not fond or who are not acclimated to the forces of a tree of life. I'm telling you, before I even get my grippers on a tree of life initiation through draconian means, like I worked with Vike Jahanum stuff of draconian emanations, you know. And this was a very good book. It's catered to black magicians initiating through a tree of life with the force of Hecate, Chernobog, Goeshik on the Sifrakor, right? Like these two mass collectives, collected deities into one, or meta gods into one, and two deities, one Slavic one and one a Greek one. And I walk with them to walk through the tree of life, and I'm telling you, my life bettered through that a lot. Like before that, my life was in fucking shambles, and because of this cultivated darkness, because of my natural tendencies to walk with darkness, to walk with the negative polarity, walk with demonic beings and deities and all such, because I felt very early on in my life drawn to walk with these things, because it's a part of my natural nature and expression. So hence I've stored within me and around me a lot of negative, dark and dense energies, and because I hadn't had the tools or the technologies established within me yet, I was not capable of transforming these moments, these negative moments, these mishaps into a character building moment. I wasn't able to embrace the hero's journey completely. You know, the hero's journey is, in a sense, the tree of life path, becoming the king at some point, you know, and the creator itself, you know. Like, I was not able to have this thing established within my life, but as I started to initiate the second time to the tree of life, but this time with angels, you know, I was then able to get my own overwhelming darkness, my own darkness that needs to be transformed into light. You know, there's some darkness which should stay dark, you know, it's okay too, but like some darkness, they need to be transformed, they need to have a capacity to become your own light of creation. And hence I allowed myself to open myself up to these initiations and forces, and hence I was then able to bless, to expand my material and creationary life, my masculine aspect of myself, in a healthy manner. And I'm telling you, it's a huge blessing, it's a huge benefit, especially on a left-hand path, to having this established within your own energy system. Because I'm telling you, some darkness, some negative dark matter energies you cultivate, sometimes you bite too much up, too much that you can actually chew and walk through. It's sometimes like that, unfortunately, you know. And before it manifests into unnecessary BS in your life, let it transform into creation, into a light, into beneficence of a material life, beneficence of your own healthy masculinity, beneficence of your creation, beneficence of getting things in order and into a mass collective evolution. Sometimes it's good to do charity, sometimes it's good to do, you know, something for the mass collective, so to say. It's good. Sometimes serving the mass collective with the excess you got, it's perfectly fine. It's perfect. It's still perfectly in alignment with the left-hand path of nature still, because my principle is like, I am giving myself first all of the resources, all of the energy in self-love that I need, that my cup is overflowing, and by this overflowing, this excess, I can gift freely without a second thought the mass collective something, and they can become evolved through it as well. But the right hand path principle is like, you sacrifice your own cup, your own essence to the mass collective, so that some people potentially get, like, have an excess of energy, and some of this energy flows back to you. You know what I mean? Some of the energies that you helped others to achieve, the overflow comes back to you again, and it's still an evolutionary process. You still get power through it, but it's not in excess. It's not like so much self-empowering, so much self-agency in a sense. You know what I mean? But still, you have others to get in excess, and this excess nourishes you in return in some regards. But I'm like that. I nurture myself so much. I worship, I love, I respect, and I work myself on so much that I have excess, and this excess, in whatever way it manifests, I can give it freely to other people. I do charity. I can give it freely to you now, and I still aim in alignment with the left-hand path, or with the negative polarity. Still, I'm doing this out of my own heart. Yes, I'm doing this out of my own heart. I'm doing this out of my own, in a sense, quote-unquote, doing good for others to certain degrees. But like, I do it because I can and I want to, and it's not like my spiritual obligation to it either. Like, I can also kind of channel my access to other projects as well. Why not? But like, sometimes I do charity like that and give people advice, energies, and directions, you know, because I can give it, because I have excess of energies. And ultimately speaking, it serves me well. It kind of balances out also the darkness and, in a sense, negative energy and adversarial energy I push on myself and I push on the mass collective at the same time. You know, it balances out these type of karmas. And again, karmas are not good, are not bad, they are not evil, etc. Karma is just action and reaction. And sometimes, you know, when I'm pushing too much darkness and such, like, some of it can be also unbeneficial to you too. So you kind of balance it out at some point with such actions, such as charity and giving light to the mass collective, be it with knowledge, be it with guidance, etc. You know, that's just a part of embodying the Sephirotic aspect as a left-hand path practitioner of dark magic. So yeah, my dearest and beloved ladies and gentlemen, these I want to make you aware of, bless you with. I hope and I know it will grandly help you if you take it seriously and that you use it well for your own evolution. Alright? Alright. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, NAGA bless, and we surely see and hear us again. Love you guys.